You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
This summer, click into cordless power with Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot. Tackle more than half an acre of grass with the convenience and gas-like power of the Ryobi 40-volt battery-powered mower. And keep your flower beds fresh with the 40-volt cordless string trimmer. Then clear debris with the 40-volt jet fan leaf blower. Click into Memorial Day savings happening now at your cordless power source, the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. New callers go directly to the front of the line. Phone number here, 608-501-0718. We don't have any new callers. So what do we got? That's a good question. Let's scroll. We have the one and only Peter Thomas.
Ryan, it's Peter Thomas.
What's up?
So the Packers schedule just came out, and I'm looking at it. And what I'm seeing here is really quite amazing. I think the hardest stretch that we're going to have is between San Francisco and then getting ready for the Dolphins on Thanksgiving.
Right.
I think that's going to be a pretty brutal stretch, and then having to play the Lions the following Thursday. But I like this schedule a lot. I like the bye week is coming right in the middle. We get to kind of see who we are for the first 9 weeks.
Yep.
At best, I think we go, I hate to be so optimistic here, but 13-4 at best, and really, if we, at worst, I'm thinking 10-7 to end the season. That's if we just, lose a couple of gimme games and that we're not expecting. But I'm liking the schedule. I really do. I think we can knock out the first 4 teams and really kind of put our stamp on the NFC North in the first 4 games. LA is going to be tough. But I think we got the Cardinals. Obviously, Houston's going to be tough, but the Jags are beatable in Week 8. The Lions will be a good test for sure. And then we got a bye week, and whoever is injured hopefully can get back on their toes and get ready for the Bears on the 17th. But I'm thinking that the weeks after the bye week, we'll kind of know what we are and who we are as a team, and then really kind of going into the end of the season. I'm liking we got the Vikings to finish out week 17, and of course the Bears to end the season. And I'm just liking the way this is all laying out. I have a really good feeling about this year. Anyways, man, those are just my initial thoughts. All right, hope you're well. Go Pack.
Yeah, you say I hate to be super optimistic. I think I had us at 14 wins. It's not usually my style, but we're having fun here. You're right, though. I mean, after the bye is when it gets tough. I mean, the Bears should be a gimme. We'll see how they're doing. But then you got 49ers, that's tough. Miami, that's tough. Then it's at Detroit, that's tough. And even the next week, I know Seattle is not necessarily a mega premier team, but it's still tough when you've gone through a gauntlet like that. Now it's the second week on the road, and you got to go all the way to Seattle, and you're playing a, sort of a borderline playoff team. That could end up being pretty tough. And then even, the Saints have got, these are teams that there might be a little bit something there to kind of, if you're not on your game, you're probably not going to win. So I'm hoping they can really maximize on the beginning of the schedule, because until week 9, these are all games that not only are winnable, I think you should win. I've said what I said about the Eagles. I know it's week 1, which is fluky. I know it's another country, which is fluky and all that. But, I mean, they were in beyond dire straits. The Colts, we talked about yesterday, pending some kind of a massive resurgence from their quarterback who's taken about 10 snaps up to this point. I think it's going to be it's like his second or third game after week 1, assuming he plays the whole game. I'm talking like playing start to finish, full games. He didn't play very much. Tennessee's a should win. Vikings a should win. Rams, I'm still going to say, is a should win. We've kind of got them in our back pocket. The Cardinals, I'm not scared of. Oh, the Texans. I forgot about it. I'm so used to seeing Texans and thinking trash. I forgot they're good again. But you got Texans, Jaguars, Lions. Those are 3 games that you could win 3, you could win 2, you could win 1. You hate to think you'd lose more than that, but that's when it gets to be a little bit tough. But again, that's why, when you go through the first 6 weeks, I'm hoping we can clear 5 games. Then, even if you have a little bit of a rough stretch, you're at 6-3 going into your bye week, right? Even if you lose to the Texans and the Lions, which I would hope wouldn't happen, but you're sitting at 6-3. You come out, you beat the Bears, you're 7-3. Again, if you fall 2 of 3 in that next stretch, you're 8-5? And then Seattle, New Orleans, Minnesota, and Chicago, I would hope you'd win 3, if not at least 2. So that's like a minimum of 10 wins. And so I'm kind of looking at it, I don't want to say worst case scenario because it could obviously be worse, but even if you really fail in those moments where you go up against tough competition, you're looking at somewhere around 10 wins.
Hey, Ryan. This is Steve up in Alaska and all my great Packer friends out there in the world. We've gotten to look at the new schedule. I don't want to lose it in my head. I'm not going to lose my head. 13-4, 10-7. Those are the numbers that I'm looking at. Bear with me. It's super late. I got to get up super early. It's Alaska. I'm in the long day now, man. It doesn't get dark. It hasn't gotten dark enough tonight where, you don't need a flashlight outside to go outside and do anything. Another couple days, you don't need lights on your car in like another week. That's about what it'll take. So I'm up, I'm doing the thing. So here's my thought process, and here's where I'm going. I went through the schedule. And I'm doing this on just what you know about the teams from last year, what you've seen them do in the off season, where you think they are right now. Of course, we've all listened to the pundits and the talkers and everybody doing their thing. Of course, you, Ryan, are one of them. So here's what I think. Looking at the Packers at the very top end, games that we're going to win and games that I think that we're going to lose, depending on the schedule and where they fall, where we are in the season, and what the Packers have done, in my mind, historically. So, I think we have a good chance. I believe I said 13-4. Want to say 13-4, but I think that's the best number that I said. I gave 2 numbers at the very beginning. I think 13-4 is the top we could do. That means we're on fire, we're hitting teams just right, and the schedule is falling right for us, and those other teams are in the right positions. I think 13-4 is the best we can do. I'm looking at us at the low end, and of course, this is all not saying injuries. None of it has to do with injuries, but 10-7. That's saying that we lose some games that we really should have won. We have some struggles. We're fighting some things here. That's what I think we are. I don't know what everybody else is saying. I'm sure a lot of people else have looked at this schedule, and we're all trying to figure out what we're going to have. As soon as we see the schedule and where it falls out, you're going to start putting people in a number that 13-4, 10-7. I really think. Because we got to remember, it's a 17-game schedule. This changes the number that works in our head. A 5-loss season when it
3 minutes caught him. But yeah, that's kind of the conclusion I just came to. Assuming nothing horrific happens, like Jordan falls off or whatever, just things just kind of fall the wrong way, 10 wins feels kind of like a floor. Now, again, obviously that's not true. They could win 6, they could win 7, whatever, but that's kind of, if you assume you handle your business and you win the games you're going to, and that's not going to happen, you're going to drop a game or two that you should have won, but then you lean heavily into losing most of the games that you are supposed to lose, you're kind of sitting around 10. Now, if you want to go real hard and say you lose all the games that you're supposed to lose, or not supposed to lose, but all the semi-difficult games, you don't win a single one, and you drop a couple games that you should win, well then, okay, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, like I don't know however low you can go. But if you just kind of take my perception and seemingly several people's perception of where the Packers are, and then just say who are you better than, it's kind of where you end up. And I'm kind of in that range as well. Now that's not my official prediction. I'd have to think about it a little bit more, but in fact, off the top of my head, I think there's a relatively easy way to determine this, but that'll be for another day. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. Part 2.
Part 2.
Indeed.
I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only person that's rambling on here, but it's figuring out how it all works out when teams fall into place. I think the key game is that first game of the season. I think that's a big key game for us. If we can come out of that with a win, I think that we're more likely to get to that 13-4 number than we are the 10-7 number. When we lose that game, we're going to be down towards that 10-7 number. And if injuries go bad, hey man, Ryan, this is going to be so much fun. This is looking like a great season, man. This is going to be so exciting. I can't wait to see it. All the rest of you Packer fans out there, Jersey Mike, you guys in Madison, all you boys down in Tennessee, we got Joe the Janitor, we got people down in freaking trying not to cuss, sorry. Down in Brazil, we got people all over the place. I want to have a great season. Can't wait for it. So excited. Go Pack Go, baby. Go Pack Go.
I agree. It's hard to not swear when you say Brazil. I don't know what it is. Just random. Brazil. But yeah, I'm excited. Should be good. A lot of stuff to look forward to in the offseason as well, but I know schedule release, that's where your mind goes. Week 1, right?
Hey, Ryan, it's Steve again.
What's up, man?
Just wanted to top off my look at what our schedule is, my talk on it. I'm thinking, again, I'm up in Alaska, so you all have to understand, you live in Wisconsin, you got the Wisconsin piece. Those of us out of the state have to deal with what we get in different places. Being that I am in Alaska and we get a lot of Seattle feeds, strangely enough, Seattle gets a lot of Wisconsin games. That also feeds up here. We surprisingly get a lot of Wisconsin in-game stuff, straight up Wisconsin feed from the team stuff where we get Larry McCarron and all those kinds of guys. I find it really interesting that we have that up here. But regardless of that, I'm looking at what we get for national feeds, and I'm thinking that we're going to get about 8 or 9 national games where we are the team that the nation is going to get to see, unless, of course, the local market supersedes, blah, blah, blah. But I think we've got 8 to 9 games, and that's pretty good. I think that is really good, because that's about what Rodgers was getting, was 8 and 9 games. And if Love and the team that we have now is getting 8 and 9 games, I think we're rocking, man. I think the nation really cares about the Packers, and I think that's really good for the fan base, man. So that was my thought on it. I'm figuring you could probably have put your thought out on it. It's pretty late for me. I'm going to bed here in a couple minutes, but I had to sit up and figure all this stuff out, man. It's so much fun. I love this game, and I love the sport. Take it easy. Go, Pack, go.
Yeah, Packers didn't really miss a beat when it comes to their national recognition. It's not really something that I have to think about a ton. Fortunately, living in Wisconsin, every game is televised. It's not really I mean, of course, you take note if it's a Sunday night or whatever, but it's not a matter of, am I going to be able to watch or not? But yeah, they really didn't miss a beat. I mean, you figure even last year when everybody thought they would suck, they still got a bunch of primetime games, probably because they wanted to highlight love, and it's still the Packers, which have a big draw, and so it didn't really take a dip. If they had started losing, it would have. But now you've got the Packers, who are a playoff team. You've got Jordan Love, who's looking like a solid quarterback. So I think the train just keeps rolling. Didn't miss a beat. Anyways, why don't we take our first break? We'll come back and hear from Kyle and Madison.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. With over 122 million parts, you can make sure your number one ride or die stays running smoothly. Brake kits, LED headlights, bumpers, whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors has it. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time. Plus, at these prices, you're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to bite into Nerds gummy clusters? They're fruity. They're tangy. They're gummy. And they're crunchy. Nerds gummy clusters, a union of fruity sweet gummy and tangy crunchy nerds. Unleash your senses. Shop now at nerdscandy.com.
With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Hey, what's up, Ryan?
What's going on?
So I woke up today to see the official schedule posted on the Packers website. And lo and behold, the schedule I was looking at on SI.com yesterday was wrong. And I called you and I said it, I was pretty okay with the schedule with the exception of the fact that I thought we needed to have 9 home games and that we should have been hosting the Niners. Just didn't make sense. And this morning I woke up, it was like Christmas. Because that's exactly what actually had happened. They just had it posted wrong. So I'm happy about the schedule. It's difficult, but with 9 home games and then one of our away games being away for both teams, really, this is an awesome year to have 9 home games. I'm pumped, man. I am pumped.
Yeah, it's like 9.5 home games or, 7.5 away games, however you want to phrase it. But it's a really good opportunity. I mean, it really is. I know a lot of people are looking at it like it's a tough schedule, and there are some tough components. I do think the Eagles are probably going to be an overrated component there. But the way that home and away is structured is actually, again, kind of to our benefit. The away game being a neutral field is a big benefit that a lot of teams are not getting. The fact that a lot of our away games are, aside from that one, which, again, is not even really an away game, you got Titans, that should be a win. You got Rams, which, you look at it as like, well, that's an away game, that's a playoff team. Of all the playoff teams, as I've said, that's the one I want every single time. So that's not super scary. You've got at Jacksonville, kind of later in the season, so probably not super hot. We're getting very close to November. Not a horrific team, but certainly not a super scary team. You got the Bears, Lions, Vikings, which obviously, like you do every year. You got Seattle. Okay. And that's it. And then of all the tough games, like who are the toughest teams we have to face? The Texans. That's at Lambeau. You've got the 49ers. That's at Lambeau. You got the Dolphins. That's at Lambeau. I mean, aside from Detroit, which you split with, I think we play like 3 fierce teams Like, you could probably call them Super Bowl contenders. And I could be wrong, and of course things are going to change. If the Eagles get back on track, then they're in that vein. If the Colts have a quarterback, they could be scary. You know, there's things that could happen. But I'm looking at 3 teams that are like, oh, that's going to be tough. Which, by the way, means all the rest of them are games that I'm looking at going, I think you should win that. I know you're not going to win every single one that you should win. But I'm going to look at these teams and say, you should win. You should beat the Bears twice. You should beat the Vikings twice. You're better than the Lions. Now, if you split with them, whatever, but you're better than the Lions. You should beat the Seahawks and the Saints. You should beat the Jaguars and the Cardinals and the Rams and the Titans and the Colts and the Eagles. So there's 3 games that it's like, ooh, I don't definitively know that you're better than them. And every single one of them is at home. And maybe I'm crazy, but of those games, being at home, if they were all away, I'm looking at it going, man, just try to get one. But with them being at home, I'm kind of wanting 2 wins of those 3 games. And if you're telling me that we win 2 of those 3, I don't know why we don't sail to 13 or more wins. Again, you're going to lose some games that you shouldn't. I get it. But just don't lose a ton. You know, there's 1 or 2 hiccups, not these stupid 3-game stretches where we forget how to play and everything.
Hey, y'all. What's up, Ryan? This is Dakota, that nerd in Tennessee.
Going on?
I've been trying to catch up with all the podcasts before I called in, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So I'm just calling in. Anyway, I had an idea listening to some folks call in about songs and stuff like that. The Trucker Bob song was freaking awesome.
Thank you.
But I had, let's see, I think my voicemail, I don't know if you skipped some or if I skipped it on accident, but I might have called in too close to the draft, and I think you started playing the voicemails that came after the draft, and then mine got lost. It's okay. It was a completely pointless thing. The only thing I said that I want to repeat, though, is that if you could make like an AI song modeled after the Cranberries.
Oh, I think we played that.
I think that would be amazing. Dolores, whatever her, I think she was Irish, incredibly Irish last name was. Anyway, that lead singer has potentially one of the most distinctive voices in any genre whatsoever ever. I guess I'm no longer a closet fan. I'm outside of the closet now fan of Cranberries. Anyway, that would be freaking cool. Also, just to throw another idea out there, if you had a song, I don't know, call it like Goots Boots or something, because, you know, you got the Butt Licker song. That's obviously a fantastic, I don't even know if it's a song, maybe modeled in the style of one of Johnny Cash's, like, just talking songs. I don't know. It was poetry is what it was. It was hilarious. But, you know, you call yourself a Goot Licker. You got it on Twitter. People like to call people Goot Lickers. So why not have a Goot Licker anthem called Goots Boots or something? I don't know. I just like saying Goots Boots. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this cigar and try to continue to catch up. So, peace.
So I know I made a Gootacunt song that was a Goot Licker song. I think I shared it, but I don't know. And I'm certainly ashamed of the fact that Goots Boots is not a part of that, because, you know, the whole point is like being a bootlicker, Goots Boots. That needs to be a part of the rhyme. So we'll redo that. Let me make a little note here. Goots Boots. Hopefully I don't close that tab. I just want to see this real quick. So I'm going to take one quick swing at this and just see if we can get it to kind of sound like her. So all I did was say Dolores Riordan and Cranberries. So it's not allowed to just be like, okay, I'll do that. So it's got to replace the artist and everything, but hopefully kind of get somewhat of an idea here.
Wake up to another day, memories gray, where did they go?
It's such a cool, I like that. It's definitely a 90s, who would that be? It sounds like a 90s female singer, and I can't think of who that is. It's not, I don't think it's Alanis Morissette. I don't know. Here's the other one. It's got a little bit more of that, what do you call it, shoegazy kind of a vibe to it. Deftones, whatever. Not quite. That'll be hard. I mean, her voice is so, like you said, it's so distinct, especially since it's got obviously an Irish undertone to it, and then there's like the inflection in there.
Do you have to let it linger? Do you have to? Do you have to?
You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. I'll play around with it. I'll see what I can do. I think that's going to be tough to make work.
What up, Pack Daddy? It's Nate. I just wanted to call in because I didn't hear you cover it in the podcast. Maybe I missed it, or I think I missed a couple of the After Dark. So, but the Harrison Butker thing, he's not having a great time in the in the online community right now. I don't know. You saw his speech. It was just wildly sexist. I don't even know how you could say that it wasn't. And especially to be that tone deaf in the current 2024 environment, good Lord. I don't know if he knows how hard it is for a kicker to keep their job in the first place, but not really what you want to be doing, especially when your team is being kind of uplifted by the Swifties right now. Just not what you want to do, man. Read the room. If you're on film, know that you're being filmed. Know that could get out and is going to be posted on the internet. And, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. Go back, go.
So I've never actually looked at the comments. I didn't care enough to actually do it. I'm Googling it right now. Here's what I'll say. Couple things. He said he's not having a good time in the online community. Yes, there are a group of very loud people on Twitter. Don't make the mistake of assuming that that's a representative of just like that. That means that that's everybody. As evidence, he is the highest selling jersey of anybody right now. So there's always people that come out and they're pissed, and then the other people come out and they're super excited. Same thing like with Kaepernick. The other thing, and I just want to peruse the comments before I make the comment because I could be mistaken. But to be very clear, I think that there may be a group of people, and I don't mean to be disparaging to you necessarily, Nate, but I think there are a lot of people that are very insulated into a specific belief. And there's a general cultural, things you're allowed to say, things you're not allowed to say. And there seems to be a group of people that believe that we all just agree to follow these rules, not realizing that there are billions of people on this planet that absolutely don't agree with any of that. And from what I can tell, and again, I'm sure there's some things that are not exactly that way. These are, he was speaking at a Catholic university. These are pretty mainstream Catholic beliefs. To expand that out further, they're pretty mainstream Christian beliefs. To expand that out even further, I don't know that there's anything that was said here that would be considered inappropriate in Muslim circles. How much of the world is covered by people that would have really no issue with any of these statements? And again, you can say that it's a terrible thing to say. Let's see, what did he say here? Some of you go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you'll bring into the world. I'm guessing that's not one of the controversial comments. I don't know why it would be. I guess what I'm getting at is, number one, stop believing that this one core little group of beliefs, just because a group of people on Twitter all think a certain way, and Instagram and all the places where little kids hang out, because there seems to be a uniform voice there that actually is a uniform voice. It's not. And here's the thing. I don't think Butker has any regrets. I don't think the people that were listening to that speech were offended by it. I don't think the people that he was speaking to found it to be offensive, because again, I think literally billions of people on the planet, I don't think would find this offensive. So if you didn't like it, if somebody else doesn't like it, that's fine. But we got to get out of this mindset that he's one of this really small group of radical psychos and the whole world is just coming down on him. No, that's the picture that's being painted by the people that control what you see, but it's not the reality. So, I'm seeing, what was the one that I saw? I don't even know what the sentence means, but at the end it says something about duty as a husband's servant, supposedly talking about women. Now, that's not a phrasing that I've ever heard before, but you also have to understand that in almost any religious context, again, maybe not those exact words, that's pretty common language. You can say it's repugnant, that's fine, but I don't know. I think that there's a mainstream core set of beliefs. There are people that go along with that mainstream, and they tend to believe that 95% of the world goes along with the mainstream, and it's really not even close to that. And that's just in America. Outside of America, there are entire countries that do not share the same thoughts and values that the mainstream American or Western values currently hold. And I say currently because you can go back 20 years, and this would not be that shocking. Maybe a little bit. Again, the exact wording of that is a little bit more, I don't know what you call it, a little bit more abrasive than I've ever heard it said. So, I mean, to your point, he had to know that there was going to be backlash, but I don't know, man. I mean, at some point, are we going to reward people for hiding their beliefs and being ashamed of what they believe because the thought police are going to shame you? Or do we respect people for being honest about their beliefs and being proud of who they are? I think he read the room and he knew how the mainstream felt, and he said, I don't care. So again, I don't have an issue with people saying it's repugnant and terrible, and I don't agree with it. I don't like the general feeling of, wow, can you believe that? Like, everybody hates him now. It's like, no, they don't. And I just think that kind of shocks some people to find out. Because you got to understand, listen, look at it from Harrison Butker's perspective. He's not going to be shocked to hear mainstream ideas because he hears it 24/7. But people that are insulated in the mainstream, hearing these different perspectives, it's more shocking. But that's really all we're talking about. There's radical positions that are accepted and people are loud about and feel comfortable saying because it's accepted today. And then there are radical positions that you need to keep your mouth shut about because you're not allowed to talk about it. This is one of the latter things. And I think he's going to be fine. And again, it's like there's petitions to get him kicked off the team. And it's like there's this underlying assumption that, oh, he's gone now. He's done. He's ruined. It's like, I don't think you get it. That's not going to happen. He has the support of his teammates, which is shocking. Teammates are coming out supporting him, and it's just like, well, then you're an evil person too. It's like, no, that's not how this works. And it's like, well, the team's going to cut him. It's like, I don't think so. Can he kick field goals? I mean, if he sucks at kicking field goals, they'll cut him. If they don't, they won't. I think there's just this assumption that there's going to be a universal outrage and he will be ruined and cast aside. And this is not really going to happen. I mean, you'll get the Chiefs coming out saying, we don't agree. But outside of that, it'll be divisive. And, some people will take a side, some won't. It just depends where you fall on certain issues. And you also have to remember, locker rooms, think about how unusual it is listening to football players talk. There is, outside of a church building, no place on earth talks more about God and faith than the people in a football locker room. I'm not sure that he has the level of disdain in that locker room that you think he does. I'll leave it at that.
Have you ever experienced turbulence on a flight and wondered why?
And you can see all the terrain around you. You've got no issue with visibility or anything?
No, everything's peachy.
Maybe you've sat on the tarmac for hours wondering why your plane isn't moving.
Well, we're outside here. They're saying the ramp is closed. They won't let us park because of Air Force One.
Listen in on the conversations between pilots and air traffic controllers on the Air Traffic Out of Control podcast.
510 Whiskey declaring an emergency. There's smoke in the cabin. I need to make a landing right now on 31 left.
We have the most interesting, wild, and funny ATC recordings you will ever hear. Check out Air Traffic Out of Control wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey.
It's Joe, the janitor from Connecticut.
What's up, man?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
So everything's going pretty good over here. The schedule came out. Really excited about that. Obviously, we knew about the Eagles game. I think we could really win that one. And I mean, if we don't, the next 4 or 5 games after that are all winnable games. Really excited about our home contest against the Colts. I mean, I'm just excited about the schedule in general. Sounds like it's gonna be a good year. As far as the strength of the schedule goes, I guess no one really knows. You can say all you want right now, your strength of schedule. Yeah, we have a pretty tough strength of schedule, based on what other teams have, but not worried about it. It doesn't look too crazy to me. We won't know much until like October as far as teams go, but excited. I did have a question. If any player were to take a big 2-year leap, who do you think we would benefit most if that happened? So, say like Jaden Reed or Tucker Kraft. I know maybe Lucas Van Ness. Like if they took a huge second-year leap, second-year jump, who do you think is more important in that context? To me, I think it would be it'd probably be Lucas Van Ness based off his play last year, and considering that if Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks have similar seasons to what they had last year, honestly, I'm not going to be upset. Lucas Van Ness, our first-round pick, has a similar season to what he did last year. I'm going to be kind of upset. Anyway, I did want to touch on the AI. The AI stuff. I love the
pause real quick just so I can answer that. I almost feel like you'd have to set Lucas Van Ness to the side because that feels like too easy of an answer. I mean, you could argue, Musgrave or Kraft or somebody else, but I think that would be the clear. I mean, if somebody took a massive leap, I mean, that would be the most beneficial. Outside of that, I would almost probably say Musgrave. You could say Reed, but he was already pretty solid. Same with Dontavian Wicks. Tucker Kraft would be cool, but he doesn't have the ceiling that Musgrave had. So if somebody had to take a big jump, I would choose Musgrave. And maybe that's unfair to Kraft, but I mean, Musgrave just has a ridiculous ceiling that would be great to explore. Brooks and Wooden are great, but leap from what to what? And maybe I'm being unfair and just assuming that because you're a later round pick, you're not going to be as elite. But even still, I mean, you're talking, third or fourth interior defensive tackle compared to, I don't know. Carlson, I think, could be in the conversation. Not that kickers are anywhere near as important as, for example, pass rushers, but man, it sure would be nice if he was, somewhere in that top 10 kicker range that just was consistent, that you just didn't have to worry about. Sure would be pretty wonderful. Anthony Johnson, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but we've completely replaced him. Same with Lou Nichols. I mean, I was excited to kind of see what he can do. And maybe there's a role in there because if you assume Dillon doesn't pan out, I mean, we're not paying all three of those guys. The point is we got 3 studs to prove who can actually be a stud. We'll maybe keep 2, assuming one of them is the rookie, which it would be. But which actually, if you think about it, well, that's not entirely true. It's possible that we could get rid of, well, whatever. It's not that important. Lou Nichols is going to have a hard time making the field at all. Same with Grant DeBose or so many wide receivers. Valentine would actually, that you can make an argument there. I'd love to have Stokes, but if Valentine could just be that dude to have another corner, that needs to be discussed. There's plenty of options. I do think Lucas Van Ness is the top option. I would probably say Musgrave would be the next best option, largely, again, because of his ceiling and the potential to actually have a premier tight end. We've seen a lot of teams, the team that's won back-to-back Super Bowls, for example, what you can do if you have a really solid quarterback and an elite tight end. But, all right, next part.
I'm always listening to the word, and I'm wondering how much does it actually take for you to come up with that? I haven't tried to create any music with AI, but I have one of those stupid Google or Galaxy AI phones that does like weird stuff. But
all right.
So I've messed around with it here and there, but honestly, I'm kind of scared about this whole AI stuff, even though I do like it. I feel like our country is going to head into a, dystopian sci-fi future that we're heading.
Just getting me excited.
Scary. Other than that, I'm excited for the Packers. Go Packers, go! Shalom.
The two kinds of people in the world right now, they hear like futuristic, robotic AI. I mean, you throw in dystopian, it kind of tilts the scales, but you got one group of people going, oh man, that's scary, and the other group going, frickin' let's go. Let's go, robots. Let's go, future. Self-flying cars. Come on now. As far as how much work, it does, like, so that cranberries thing, it was one prompt, and then you wait maybe 60 seconds, and it's like, all right, here's 2 samples for you to try out. And that's it. You can have it write all the music for you. It does 30-second clips, so that's all you can get, which can make it kind of tough, because sometimes it's like, based on the tempo and how many words, it's like, it'd be nice if I could do 20 seconds or 45 seconds or something, but... And then if you want to, add something, it has to be 30 seconds. So that would be a nice little change. That would be great if we could work on that. But it just depends how detailed you want to get. I feel like I've set a unnecessary standard for the podcast, which is why I haven't like added music, because it's like I can't just do like that. I mean, I guess I could. We could just let's see. What does this song sound like real quick? What was the other one? That was pretty cool.
Wake up to another day. Memories gray, where did they go?
I like that song, dude. Now, like I said, all I typed it, Cranberries and Dolores O'Riordan. That's it. I don't know what the lyrics are. What are the lyrics? Let me see what it says here. Wake up to another day, memories gray, where do they go? And then the chorus is, I just want to know, where's our spark of fire? What burns in your desire? Tell me, why should we linger? Cranberries. Do you still care? Is it there? I don't know. It's a good song. I think we're just going to rock that. I'll add a little bit to it, and we'll see how it sounds. So you can do that, or you can go all in and create lyrics and try to make the lyrics match the sound after you find the sound, and it can be a big, long, detailed process. So it's kind of up to you how detailed you want to get with it.
Hey, Ryan, Trevor in Virginia.
What's up, Mike?
Been a lot of AI talk lately.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I'm a software engineer at Microsoft, and I'm here to tell you the AI is coming. There's no stopping it at this point. The train has left the station. The thing that's going to slow it down is when the government starts putting regulations on, which is bound to happen at some point. Right. Using people's likeness and stuff like that will be the main thing first. But
well, and I think that's why a lot of these companies are self-regulating so hard. There is an element of like trying to do the right thing and being decent, but they understand if they cross a line, the government is just going to crack down immediately on it. So they're trying desperately to make sure that, you got people doing crazy stuff, man. I mean, they're going to be, we saw the thing with Taylor Swift, making her look certain ways and dress certain ways or whatever. That's crazy. They've got, of course, you got people that immediately want to do like Nazi stuff, and there's other things where you try to get it to agree with you about certain things. Like, it gets, what was it? The city of New York or something like incorporated AI, and people manipulated the AI into getting them to agree to different things. It's just, so it's the Wild West, as I said. And I think these companies, rightly so, are paranoid that if people start using these inappropriately, which by the way, inappropriate is the least of your worries. I'm more worried about AI teaching somebody how to create a bomb than AI, making like jokes about people, like racist jokes, like, did you hear what it said? 13-year-olds and stuff. But yeah, I'm positive that's coming, especially as rapidly as it's coming out. I mean, like I said, I think yesterday, it already seems to be growing outside of the control of AI. I mean, out of these companies. Like I said, there was that one feature that seems like it came out by OpenAI, where it could replicate a person's voice with just like one sound clip or something. And they're like, nope, we got to shut that down because that could lead to all kinds of stuff. So, I don't know. It's going to be tough. I mean, I think we are kind of approaching that period where it's growing so rapidly, and Elon Musk and some other people have been screaming for a long time. We have to stop this and put some guardrails up, which is probably right. But I don't want to admit it because I don't want this to slow down. I'm having too much fun. But he's probably right. But it's just exploding, in all directions right now. So it's just a matter of time.
I think we all should be worried because even me as a software engineer, it's like this AI could potentially take my job. So then what the hell do I do with my life? So, well, apologize for the cuss word. Now on to football.
Just reminded me, somebody else swore, and I think I was supposed to bleep it out. And I hope that wasn't yesterday's podcast. I don't know. I'm just going to apologize now and say sorry I didn't do it.
Our schedule seems very weird this year. I don't know. I don't remember a schedule like this because even last year Rogers was gone. Oh, God, excuse me. And
how dare you?
We still had quite a few primetime games, and we actually have quite a few this year, but it's like we have the primetime game week 1, and then it's no primetime games until week 13, and then it's like we have 4 in a row, I'm pretty sure. So it's like, that's 5 primetime games there alone. Like, that's a good bit, and we could potentially be primetime against the Bears last week of the season if the Bears don't suck, which I don't expect that to happen, so probably not. But, it's just a very weird makeup of the schedule, I feel like. I like the week 10 bye. I like the later bye, so that's good if you ask me. I had 2 more things. I'm going to call back.
It is unusual the way that they're, like I mentioned the Jets thing, where it's like every other game is a primetime game, which is unusual for the Jets to begin with. I understand they're expected to be a good football team with Rodgers and the defense, and it's all going to come together. But still, it's the Jets, which is weird. And then on top of that, why would you do every other game? Like, it's so smash and then nothing. And I understand the logic behind it, but from a team's logistical standpoint, it's like, is that okay? Should you be doing that? I don't know. It's weird. I think they've got the robots doing the schedules now, and I think they're doing a good job in terms of trying to put together good matchups and all that stuff. It does seem to be quite a bit better. But yeah, you end up with maybe we don't care as much about the fact that you've got 4 primetime games all backed up against each other and stuff.
Hey, Ryan, Trevor, Virginia again. The last couple of days I've been getting caught up on like 15 podcasts between you and Clayton. So some of the stuff is kind of old, but somebody had called in, I forget who now, and they had talked about when the running back, if they're going to get tackled for a loss, the sideline, just throw the ball out of bounds as a forward pass. And I think you point out the good stuff, but the other main flaw to that is if it's a run play versus a pass play, unless it's an option, and even then, by then the option's been decided, so the rest of your team knows, but the blocking's very different. And so if a receiver is engaged in a block and you throw that ball, it's pass interference. And if any of the offensive linemen have traveled more than a yard downfield, which pass blocking, unless they're losing, they should be, or not pass, but run blocking, you know what I mean. They're going to get flagged for an eligible man downfield. So you're going to get flagged is the main reason you can't just throw it out of bounds at the sideline. On top of what you mentioned about it being potentially risky and could throw a pick, stuff like that. And then secondly, I've been calling about this for a while. It's kind of old topic, but when we were looking for a defensive coordinator, it's like everybody's looking at the Ravens and some of these teams, and it's like these teams that the Ravens will be my example here, that are going to like lose all these coaches because it's such a good defense and they have such good coaching. Like they're going to have coaches go everywhere. And just as much as it would suck for like side of the ball coaching staff to just get ravished by other teams taking coaches, it's like how cool would that be to have your team be that good and that well respected? Like, I mean, I'm not that old. I haven't been a Packer fan. I've had a pretty charmed Packer life. I just turned 30 actually, but
I get it.
But it's like I have never seen our coaching staff get taken like that. Even when we've had great offenses, it's like the offensive coordinator goes, and then like the next offensive coordinator comes up, and then maybe the next year they go, or a couple years later. It's like we never like lose a bunch of guys at once. And, so I think the defense, we definitely put together a group of stud defensive coaches, it seems like, and could all fall apart, but it seems like they're going to be really good. And it's like, it would suck, but also how cool would it be if next year, 2 years from now, we're the hot team and we have all these coaches going to be DCs and whatnot elsewhere. Again, it's not cool to lose the coaches, but if you want to be really an elite defense, that's part of the game and that's what's going to happen. So anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Go Pack, go. I'll keep listening.
Yeah, and I think they kind of go in flurries, and it really depends the perception on who's doing it. So if you think back to Mike McCarthy, there were a lot of McCarthy guys that got purged and went and got jobs elsewhere. I mean, he had a pretty big tree. It was an extensive tree. But after a while, it just kind of, nobody really wants it. Same with the Chiefs. That they all got purged for a while or pulled away for a while. And then it just kind of died off, and it's not necessarily the thing to do. And then these guys get to stay. And so I do think that it could happen for the Packers. Now, the offense, I think that's already done. There was a big exporting of guys. Maybe our offensive coordinator now still could be that guy, especially being a really good offensive line guy. I think the Packers really respect him. He could possibly get hired away. I don't know that there's anybody else on our offense right now that would be massively coveted. Defensively, absolutely. I think Halfley and Ansley and a lot of these guys could end up getting pulled away or promoted, and maybe it's within the Packers. You know what I mean? I gave that scenario where some of these guys could end up getting promoted elsewhere, and Ansley might be the type of guy too where it's like maybe this is as high as it goes for him. We tried the DC thing and it didn't really work out. I don't know, but I think that's generally the way that it goes. Guys get purged for a while, and then you kind of feel like you've hit that bottom where it's not really worth it anymore. And we might be there on offense. We have not even begun with the defense. We'll see how this all pans out. But let me just say real quick before we close out. I know there was a quick little thing with the Butker thing or whatever, which I really don't care. It's not a big deal. We can talk about different topics or whatever. But because it's an election year, I'm just going to make a request. You guys can call in about whatever you want. I might skip some stuff. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. But as we get closer, things like this are not going to get better. They're going to get more tense. It's going to get more, whatever. I'm trying to make a concerted effort to not go down that path because we have a lot of people that think a lot of different things, and I want everybody to come here and enjoy the podcast and not feel like they're not a part of the group. So I'm just asking as a request if we could try to maybe avoid certain hot button issues. I'm not saying, Nate, you did anything wrong. I mean, again, it is pretty much the consensus across social media that everybody hates the guy, and I understand that seems to be the perspective. It was just a thought as the show was rolling on. I was like, especially now with just random topics coming up, and we're spending a lot of time talking about AI, and I've been thinking the last couple of days, like we're going to have to try to steer this ship back to the Packers because we're spending entire days not even talking about the Packers, which again is fine, but I just see those two things as a bad combination. We're bored. We're looking for other things to talk about. Oh, and it's election season. We haven't done Packernet After Dark during election season. So again, I'm not telling you what you can or can't say. I may skip some things if I'm just like, I don't feel like talking about it. I don't want to do it. But I would just rather we didn't. You know what I mean? Let's just not do it. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. You guys have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Wake up to another day. Memories gray. Where did they go? I just want to know, where's our spark of fire? What burns in your desire? Tell me, why should we linger? Do you still care? Is it there? Oh, I just want to know. I just want to know. Lost in a sea of doubt, dreams slipping slow, I need to see. Your eyes once burned so bright. What happened to you?